Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. Some of you dealer techs, if you call yourself a tech, I'm sure the seasoned mechanics in that shop, know what the heck to do, but it's just brakes and oil changes. It's not nothing. You still need to know a little bit. This truck came in from the dealer. Customer was spitting nails because they wouldn't put brakes on it. They said they're stuck. Can't get them off there because they're stuck. They're stuck. Rotor stuck. Yeah, the rotor's stuck. Rotor's stuck. I know. Yeah, the rotor's stuck, right? The wheel was stuck on there. One of the lugs was over torqued. I stuck my padded bar in there, locked it to the brake caliper and broke it loose with the breaker bar and spun it off. The wheel was stuck on there. I took my crowbar and reached in behind and pried against the brake caliper bracket and popped it off. I took the brake caliper off and I took the bracket off, and the rotor was clipped on there from the factory clip, so I took the factory clip off of there. I vibrated it with an air hammer until it came loose, and then it was stuck on there. It didn't want to come off. I went and got my tire spoon and I backed off the adjuster for the parking brake. First I tapped on the lever right there to make sure it was seated all the way back, because sometimes the brake cable will stick a little bit. That wasn't the problem. What the problem was it had been adjusted up just a freckle, and it didn't want to come over top of the ridge on the parking brake. I'm going around to the other side because they put the other side on new. They wouldn't put that side on new because they said they couldn't do it. It was going to take hours and hours and hours to take it apart. This truck came in here 10 minutes ago. I'm going to knock this side apart, and well, I'll just show you just as quick as I do it. Okay, this must be the rotor they couldn't get off, because look, I don't think we're going to turn that out. And I started wiggling on it and pieces were falling around down here inside. So great, it's loose, but you know what? They have a deal here to adjust the parking brake. So we'll see if we can back that off. I don't know. You saw in the time lapse, it didn't take me very long, and I was walking around most of the time. I'm sweating and it makes me itch whenever stuff rolls down my face, so I scratch. Or it's a tick, I don't know. It's hot today. Let's see if I can get this rest of the way off. Okay, this piece fell out. It is one of the hold down springs. So it's been ground half in two, broken. So now, on top of going ahead and putting brakes on it, we got to fix what they screwed up. It took me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. They told that guy 4 or 5 hours. And then they put new pads on a screwed up rotor. We're gonna get this taken care of. All right, truck is back together. Test drive is underway. I am angry about this situation. I see kind of why they were saying it was going to take so long, because they broke all the hold down hardware for the parking brakes. The flange is so large that you can't get in there to put the hardware in for the parking brakes. You're supposed to pull the axle out. That's going to be a while. They didn't tell a customer that. They said it was stuck. And because it was stuck, that it was going to take that long. It's not stuck. You watched me just vibrate that with an air hammer. And I don't know if this was a newbie. I don't know if he was still wearing diapers. I don't know if he had training wheels on his toolbox. It didn't, when I saw what was going on, I walked over to my toolbox and I got my brake adjuster tools out. One, just a 90-degree spoon, and reached in there and backed off the parking brake a little bit. That's all it took. And the left side just fell off. I took it over to the right side. All the springs were still holding the shoes together, but the hold downs hadn't been ripped off. Now the customer wanted all of his parts back so that he could take them back to the dealership and, I don't know, throw it at them, let them use it as paperweight, drop it on one of their feet. I don't know, but I'm not going to be there whenever it gets wild down there at the dealership. One thing I want to say, this is a company vehicle. That was why it was at the dealership. Company required it to be done at the dealer. Could have just been honest. Say, well, we're going to have to pull the axle. Some stuff was damaged. But they put it back together with parts dancing around inside. So, fortunately, it didn't ruin the shoes. But it's just a parking brake. It's not that big of a deal. I understand. I put it back together. You're supposed to pull the axle to do that. I didn't. It's a nightmare, but it is possible. I didn't do that because that would involve dropping the cover off, draining the oil out, working inside the carrier to get the keeper loose to pull the axle out. That's a lot of work. Replace what was damaged on that side. Got it all put back together, put it out the door. I used to have to do that all the time. Drum brakes. They're still around. Yeah, I understand you work at a dealership, work on new stuff more, but you still get older stuff in. You still see drum brakes. If you don't have a drum that comes off, work on the adjuster. Hopefully it's not stuck. These weren't stuck. They backed right off. Click, 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 and the rotor came off. They had beat on that rotor and chipped off the edges. Bent up. They were prying around on the backing plate. It was all bent up. I had to straighten it out. Now, sometimes a simple job will come along and it'll just kick my butt. It happens. But I don't know if this customer got a chance to talk directly to the person that worked on it or not. Doubtful. Maybe the service manager that was discussing it with the customer didn't know the whole story. Well, why not? I would think that it'd be part of your job to go out there and actually discuss things with the tech to see what was going on. Is there a seasoned tech in the shop that can go over there and hold his hand for a minute and say, hey, you might want to back off that adjuster before you break that rotor? I don't know, honestly. I had to vibrate on that thing quite a bit to get it to pop loose from the hub. But it didn't take much to pop it off. I know it had to have been loose because they would have had to have been pulling on that rotor pretty hard to break them hold downs. It would have had to pull it out probably half, 3/4 of an inch to bust them things. They yanked them through. I found one of the hold down springs inside. Well, part of it anyway. The other side had not been touched. Literally had not been touched. The keeper was still on it from the factory. They put one set of pads on one side onto a chewed up rotor. Oh, the rotors won't come off. I don't know. Your job is to find out why. That's why it's there. To do the job. And if there's something in your way, you find out why it's in your way. You find out why or how you can move it. You find out a way to work through the problem. Okay, rant over. Still collecting my thoughts and wondering how to sum this up, but there's just, I don't know. Brakes and oil changes are usually a novice job at a dealership. Maybe that's what went on. But you gotta have some oversight on your techs. Know what they're doing. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. Talk to you later.